My Little Pony Friendship is Magic is a show with a massive fan base that absolutely adores it. But understandably, there are a lot of people out there who do not like the show. Then there are some people out there who absolutely hate this show with a fiery passion. And I wanted to know why. Why is it that people hate this show so much? So I took to IMDB and looked for the absolute worst of reviews. The 1 stars.
The horror! The horror!
Because I am madly curious as to why anyone would hate this show so much as to leave a 1-star review. And the 1 stars were, interesting, to say the least. Alright, here we go. 1 star. I used to like this show, but nowadays, I hate it! I know this is an unpopular opinion, but personally, I think this show is extremely overhyped. Honestly, it's not that different from the typical terrible toddler shows on Nick Jr. You could just sum up the characters' personalities in one word. The shy but kind one. The hyper-energetic comic relief. The smart bookworm who is perfect in every single way. The sport-obsessed tomboy and the cowgirl southern accent one. Even when an episode focuses on one of them specifically, they don't show any personality. Example, Lesson 0 focuses on the smart one, Twilight, but all it really shows is that she has OCD issues and sticks to a schedule. Pause? I must pause you right there, good sir, for I must contest your reasoning. So, you start off by saying that there's very little to the characters, but then the episode that you point to as an example is the one where a character has OCD issues. Now, that alone shows that there is more to Twilight than just being a bookworm. And what I find amazing is that out of all the episodes you could have chosen, you chose Lesson 0. The episode where Twilight has a mental breakdown because she's not getting an assignment done on time. The episode where we see just how far Twilight is willing to go in order to achieve her goal. The episode where we get to see how Twilight behaves in a very stressful, high-tense situation where she is in fear of losing her position as Celestia's star pupil. You chose that episode as an example to show that Twilight has no personality? Also, you specifically said that the one-word description of Twilight was, quote, the smart bookworm who is perfect in every single way. You chose Lesson 0 as your example. There are over 200 episodes in the series, and you chose Lesson 0. Okay, got that out of the way. I will now let you continue with your review. This is also my final issue with the characters. Any little bit of personality they have is just another carbon copy cliche from every other children's shows that came before it. These cliches that you are referring to are called tropes. Cliches are just simply overdone tropes that have no originality put into them whatsoever. I give Friendship is Magic some credit that at least the show staff seems to be trying to give a bigger audience appeal than little girls, but it just falls into the same problems that the past My Little Pony shows have had. Saccharine songs, corny jokes, although occasionally funny, done-to-death characters, you name it. Everything this show has done, from the stories to the characters, have been done before, done later, and done better. Okay, pause again. Okay, so this is another part where I have to bring up tropes. Because you say all of this stuff has been done before, but you will find that in every story ever. So, for anyone who is unaware, tropes are storytelling components. They are essentially the building blocks of a story. They are the different elements of a story. So, for example, do you have the big guy who's strong and mighty but not very smart, paired up with the small and weak but highly intelligent individual? Well, that's a trope. Do they have some sort of interesting character dynamic where one is envious of the other? That's a trope. Do they have a lot of respect towards each other and actually get along great? Well, that's a trope. Best friends? That's a trope too. Is there some sort of magical weapon in the world that is the one key to destroying the evil overlord? Well, that's trope too. A character who happens to be a bookworm. That's also a trope. Just about anything and everything in a story is a trope to some extent. Now, when a trope is overused, then at that point it can be considered a cliche. Take, for example, the Chosen One trope. Here you will find the likes of Anakin Skywalker, Avatar Aang, Harry Potter, King Arthur, and a whole bunch of others. Because the Chosen One trope has been used so much, it's really more of a cliche at this point. But even that doesn't mean that using the Chosen One trope is a bad idea. Because when a cliche is done really, really well, it stops being a cliche really, really fast, and consequently goes back to being a trope. All these tropes that you are listing in this review are things that the show uses well. Now, you can absolutely have your opinion and say that you don't like these tropes or you don't like how they're used or anything like that, but to say that this show is nothing more than surface level and there's like no depth to it at all? Nah. Just nah. I'm gonna have to disagree with you on that. Because now you're sort of stepping out of the realm of opinion and you're getting into objective fact. Does this show objectively have more depth than you are giving it credit for? Yes, I would say it absolutely does. That's not even a matter of opinion. There's a million different examples you can point to in this show. I even gave some in the example you gave for an episode that you said didn't show the character's personality. Okay, so the rest of this review is pretty much the same. You get the point. You get the point this person is trying to make. I strongly disagree with it, but you know what? If you don't like it, no one's forcing you to like it. Moving on. Bad lessons to children. Fascinating. This person sounds like they absolutely hate the show. I love MLP. Hold up. You love MLP, but you gave it 1 star. I am intrigued. I love MLP. Story is original, teaches us the importance of friendship, and it isn't a cliche. Huh. Well, I am thoroughly confused. Tell me more. Every time I watch an episode, it feels like it's giving us the wrong message. A couple episodes are alright, but after some time, it starts to get on your nerves. First of all, magic of friendship. Yes, I know that the title is Friendship is Magic, but the end of some episodes make out something like this. My friends have learned that it's not right to take your friend for granted, or it is okay to have more than one friend and not to get jealous of others, which is okay. But the end of season 4 and season 5 were ridiculous statements like, the magic of friendship doesn't just exist in Equestria, it exists everywhere. We are special because we have special amulets and can magically transform into other mythical creatures. Hold up. When did they transform into other mythical creatures? The only episode that I can think of is the Breezies episode, and there's nothing in that episode that suggests that they are superior because they can turn into Breezies. Is there some other episode that I'm missing that I'm not remembering? I might just be incredibly forgetful here right now. Please, if somebody can remember any episode where this happens, write it down in the comments. Also, I am confused as to why saying the magic of friendship is everywhere is a bad message. Like, obviously the message of the show isn't that you can harness the power of the magic of friendship or anything. Like, that's not true. That's not really what's happening. The physical manifestation of the magic of friendship is more of a metaphor than anything else. Anyway, back to the review. No, I am annoyed that they did that, but one episode really pushed my buttons. At the season finale of MLP, Twilight says to Starlight, "You may not recognize how important my friends are to Equestria, but they are. Without them, Equestria will fall and stuff." So Twilight is pretty much saying to little girls that my friends are much more important than yours, and without my friends, the world is doomed. This is not a good lesson for my daughter Blake to follow. If you brownies want to sit down and watch MLP, go ahead, but I am not letting my child watch this because of its terrible lessons it gives to my child. So, think about that episode. Twilight was actually right. It's true that there happen to sometimes be people who are more historically significant than others. There are events that are more historically significant than others. Yes, the butterfly effect exists and everybody plays their part in creating history. But a group of isolated people living on an island away from all other forms of civilization is not going to be as significant as Albert Einstein revolutionizing our understanding of modern physics and allowing for the creation of the atomic bomb, likely altering the outcome of World War II. Some people are more historically significant than others. Some people and groups of people and events are indeed more historically significant than others. That's just life. Now, again, that's not to devalue her or her group of friends or anyone else. As individuals, we are all equally important. From a moral standpoint, we are all equally valuable as humans. But when you're talking about the fate of a country, yeah, some people are gonna be more important than others. So yeah, Twilight is absolutely right here. But also, it doesn't really matter, because even what I am saying now was not the message of that episode. The message was that sometimes friendships end, and even if it hurts, that shouldn't keep you from making new friends. That was the message, and if you ask me, I'd say it's a pretty good one. I've genuinely never seen anyone else have this problem with this episode before. Anyway, next review. I will not read the title of this review, but we'll just call it Daft Crackers. This show is awful and teaches horrible lessons. Whoa, deja vu. I won't be showing this to my younger siblings. All the characters are a bunch of cliches with zero personality. Whoa, even more deja vu. The elements are kind of dumb. Just a horrible show overall. You know what? I would potentially agree if you gave some reasoning. Like, this show is absolutely not perfect. Just show me any flaw in it, and I will agree with you. 1 star. I tried to watch. Where do I start? Okay, I get that this show is supposed to teach lessons about friendship and stuff, but I think the lessons sometimes may be going over kids' heads. Wow, okay, so we just went from the lessons are too simplified and dumbed down to the lessons are going over the kids' heads. I guess the letters to Princess Celestia weren't on the nose enough. It's basically Twilight thinking she is better than everyone else and not giving a care about her friends. Why do people keep saying this about Twilight? Why do people think that Twilight doesn't care about her friends? Why do people think that Twilight thinks she is better than her friends? Sure, Rainbow Dash has that flaw, but Twilight doesn't have that flaw. When has Twilight ever acted that way? Like, sure, she holds herself to a very high standard, but there is a difference between holding yourself to a high standard and believing that you are better than everyone else. I never really cared for this show. I'll just go back to watching Adventure Time, thanks. I don't understand this review. Like, as I'm sitting here reading these reviews, I'm trying to think of any examples in the show where, say, Twilight thinks she is better than everybody else, or the lessons are going over kids' heads, but that's not really what the show is like. And I don't understand how they came to these conclusions. But, you know, it's fine if you don't like the show. Whatever. 1 star. I hate this show. So glad it ended. Ugh. It has been nothing but the same old lessons. This show needs to give more advice and stop providing the same thing every time. Not to mention the annoying voices the ponies have. Ugh. So, funny thing about this review, this individual says, so glad it ended, and then says it has been nothing but the same old lessons. If you have watched the show and encountered episodes with repeating lessons, that means you were watching this show for a long time. And if you know when the show ended, that means you were keeping up with the series. So, I have a question. Did this individual watch the entire series just to leave this review? Now, to be fair, I am guilty of doing this. I have watched the entirety of G5 and then made a bunch of reviews ranting about it. But like, I enjoy breaking down and analyzing the show. I enjoy the process of making videos about it, even if I think the show is poorly written. And I watch it because I'm invested in it because of its connection to Friendship is Magic. But I don't understand why this individual would stick around for 9 seasons just to write a 1-paragraph review. You hear that? Savior Manning 56523, I do not understand you. Savior Manning 56523. You make no sense in my mind. All right, next review. It's not all that. Oh, wait a second. Manning Savior? This is the same person. Okay, so not only did this guy stick around for 9 seasons just to leave this review, but he left 2 reviews on alternate accounts, and one of them has the number 56523, which leads me to believe that there is at least another 56,000 accounts that he has scattered about IMDB just leaving reviews. How obsessed with leaving a bad review must this guy be to set up an alt account after watching the show for 9 seasons? I'm starting to get the feeling that this guy secretly likes the this show and just doesn't want to admit it to his friends, so this was his evidence of not liking the show, is he would dare to leave a 1-star review on IMDb. Not only that, but he would leave 2 1-star reviews. Out of the very few 1-star reviews that IMDb has, this guy has got at least 2 of them. Okay, you know what? I'm just curious at this point. What else has this guy reviewed? Okay, we got Lego Friends, Girls on a Mission, Barbie Princess Adventure, Barbie Dreamhouse Adventure, DC Superhero Girls, and My Little Pony. Okay, so there's definitely a specific genre that this individual enjoys. Interestingly enough, this person enjoyed all of these, just not MLP. Fascinating. Fascinating. Anyway, what was Manning's second review? People hype this show way more than it has to be. I don't understand the high rating because this cartoon is just really average. And some of the lessons and animation is just terrible. Agreed to disagree. Moving on. The heck? That's an idiot show. Never watching it. Wait, hold on. Pause. Wait, pause. Pause the video. You rated it 1 star and you haven't even watched the show. You know what? I'm tired of this. I'm tired of people saying it's just a little kid's show. I would never watch a little kid's show. I'm a full-grown adult. This is the baby's show. I'm going to go watch a Deadpool and Marvel and all my superhero stuff while you go and watch the Baby Ponies show. Just give the show a chance. Give kids shows a chance in general. Maybe you'll find that you like them. I prefer Talking Tom and Friends, Pencilmation, Angry Birds, Slingshot Stories, etc. Bad. You know what? I take back what I said. This individual clearly loves children's animation and is just being an idiot for not giving this a shot. But like, why did you leave the 1-star review? Why do you hate this show so much that you would leave a 1-star review despite never watching it? Please, get anyone out there, anyone at all, give me a good reason to rate this show 1 star. These people are nut jobs. Bad lessons to children. Again? The show is pretty bad and good at the same time. Oh, okay. A nuanced point of view. Continue. But during the end of some episodes, I noticed some lessons are kind of overstretched. Twilight sometimes tells the audience she is better than everyone else, and her friends. When does she say that? She really doesn't care about anyone else. Not showing this to my younger family. Okay, what episode was it that Twilight said she is better than every pony else? Are they all specifically referring to that one episode where she said, "Oh, yes, my friends are important because we are a pivotal point in Equestria's history to stop evil tyrants from taking over and destroying the land?" Because yes, that is really important. But also, her point was that all friendships are important. Hers was just the one at stake there in that moment that was going to lead to the end of Equestria. So yes, of course you would put emphasis on just how important her friendships are. Woof. Anyway, moving on. I don't like this. Uh-oh. This show is pretty nasty. They have a baby dragon crushing on an adult pony, and she is even seducing him to do what she wants. He is a baby! Completely and utterly gross. My children will not be watching this. Huh. Yeah? Yep. That was a thing that happened. That was a thing in the show. Yep. That's a point. It's a good point. Yep. It is definitely gross. Now, I see what they were going for here. They were going for the classic, child crushing on adult, similar to like how a middle school student might be crushing on their teacher. But usually in those stories, the child confesses his love to the adult, and then she has to sit him down and explain how, hey, she's too old for him, and it would never work out, and also they're like almost always married. Just something else to really help drill it into the kid's head that this will never work out. And that could be a really cute setup, but the fact that Rarity leads him on and seduces him, and they emphasize the fact that he is a baby dragon so many times, yeah, it was a choice. And they don't even address this until season 9. And for that reason, I can fully understand why this person rated this 1 star. It makes perfect sense. All you have to do is watch the first episode, get grossed out by it, and say, nuh-uh, nope, this has gone too far. And yeah, I can definitely see this one area being enough for somebody to give it a 1 star review. And again, I think this all could have worked if they just addressed this sooner. And I don't think any of this would have been a problem if Rarity just didn't seduce him. Even if she doesn't have any romantic feelings towards him, the fact that she seduces him and lets him think that there's any chance with her for almost the entire series is a problem. Now, if she did not know that he had a crush on her and they played it as a joke throughout the entire series, and she's just completely oblivious to his crush on her, meanwhile, every pony else is just rolling their eyes, I think that could have worked. But no, she is fully aware of what she's doing here, and that's the problem. So thank you, DC Superhero Girls Wonder Woman, for leaving this 1 star review. You are the first person, and quite possibly only person, who I can genuinely say has a good reason to leave a 1 star review. All right, next review, simply titled, I've seen way better kids shows than this, and I don't understand all the hype. It's your average kids show, like, come on now. This show is nothing compared to Gravity Falls, Regular Show, Miraculous, or even anything like that. You mentioned Regular Show, and I am suddenly getting flashbacks to that Twilight bird ship that was popular several years ago. I do not know his name, but it's the Blue Jay. I think he's a Blue Jay. But yeah, that is now what's running through my mind. So thanks for that image. But yeah, I would say it's a very different show from the ones that you just listed. I've personally never seen Regular Show, and I've only seen like 1 episode of Miraculous. So yeah, I mean, I disagree, but you're cool to have that opinion though. Anyway, moving on. What is this? Very horrible show. I don't like it, and I don't understand how many people like this either. It is very disturbing, and I do not like the animation. You're fine to think that. I don't know why you think that, but that's your opinion. 1 star. What? I don't understand this show at all? Okay, so first off, why are they ponies? And a dragon? What? This show makes no sense to me, and it's boring. Well, somebody forgot to read the title of the show. 1 star. Meh. I assume this series does not exist on this earth. This series is the worst series in this universe. Bad storytelling, hated and bad characters, bad side characters and background characters, bad backgrounds, lazy designs, and the individual characters' unsteady personalities. The songs are pretty good, but sound weird, both from the instrumentals, especially when Twilight Sparkle sings. I cringe when I hear his voice singing? Okay, so Twilight's a dude now. This is news to me. I prefer MLPG5. It inspires me much more.
Your opinions shall find their ways into the pits of Tartarus. They shall never escape and never see the light of day again. The only French fries who shall ever be served again shall be fried in pickle juice.
In all seriousness, if you like G5, that's fine. All right, last review. The animation is just... I have a stepbrother who's morbidly obese. Not that that matters. Then why did you bring it up? And he loves this show. For privacy reasons, let's just call him Bob. So we're trying to get this Bob out of the house, but it's like trying to remove a cat from a box. They just get stuck in the entrance. As somebody who's working a job in animation, I just don't know what Bob means when he says the animation is iconic. It's jerky and cost-effective. Reminds me of the way action figures move. Okay. So, I just want to say, this to me sounds a lot less like a review of My Little Pony and much more like a review of your stepbrother, Bob. You did not give 1 star to MLP. I'm pretty sure you just gave 1 star to Bob. And to be fair, if Bob is being a total bum and is refusing to get out of the house, get a job, go meet with people, and just live life, I think that's a fair reason to leave a 1 star review, but Bob does not have an IMDB page. So instead, you left the 1 star review on My Little Pony, which if Bob is so addicted to this show, then that suggests it's actually really, really good. In fact, it's actually too good, meaning that it should get a 10-star review, and Bob gets the 1-star. Yeah, you really seem to frame this as though it's a review on the animation with the title and everything, but the majority of this review is just about how much of a bum Bob is being. So, Bob, if you're watching, please get out of the house and learn that there is more to life than just My Little Pony. Thank you. Oh, what's that? We got one more bonus review? All right, here it is. I give you, the viewer watching this, a 10 out of 10 stars. Now, while IMDB might be out of controversial opinions on My Little Pony, you guys most certainly are not, which is why I have a series where I read your guys' controversial opinions on the show down in the comments. So if you enjoyed this video, there's a good chance you'd enjoy that as well. The link is on screen now. Also, random fact, I'm getting married today.